According to the Pali literature, Pali Kana quotation, Sayadaw analyzed the why the concept of solidity is covered up. Concept of solidity is seated in our heart. Yesterday, and then Sayadaw analyzed the why the state of anatta, non-self, is covered up with the concept of the solidity. So the main reason is the failure to observe several types of elements, different elements, which are rising and passing away from moment to moment in our body. This is the main reason. So because of failure to observe those different phenomena or the different characteristics, different elements, and then concept of solidity is deep-seated in our heart. So if we observe the phenomena of different different characteristics, the moment they take place, then the concept of solidity is destroyed. No chance for it to exist. Then the anatta lakkhana, the state of non-self, state of anatta, become obvious to us, can be realized. This was explained yesterday, and then the Sayadaw explained yesterday the nana dhatu, several kinds of elements, different elements, which are taking place the moment we see and we hear. And then today Sayadaw will continue how the elements, mental and physical, take place the moment we smell, we taste, and so on. So from moment to moment, reality, what really exists, Sayadaw will explain today. So the moment we have smell, there are three types of the phenomena which are obvious to us. It is a base element, striker element, and the expansive element. So this smelling consciousness or smelling process is constituted of these three phenomena. So their smell can be several kinds. Some are fragrant, some are rodent, some is pleasant, and some disgusting. So it's depending on the what type of smell. Their smelling consciousness also can be different, pleasant or unpleasant. So in this case, the sense of nose is the base. The smell is strike to the base, into the base, and the smelling consciousness take place. So when we inhale, the smell come into our nose, and then strike on the base, and then smelling consciousness, responsive element take place. So these three phenomena is very obvious the moment we smell. So smelling process is constituted of these three types of phenomena. And then the mental contact between the smell and sense is also very clear. This mental contact is called phassa. This also can be agreeable or disagreeable or pleasant or unpleasant. can be divided into two kinds. And then feeling or sensation. In Pali, Vedana is also involved in the hearing process. It also depends on the type of the smell. It can be pleasant or unpleasant, pleasant sensation or unpleasant sensation. It can be different. So these are phenomena which is existed in the moment of the smell, which are involved in the process of smelling. There are many other mental and physical phenomena actually involved in the smelling process. But these three phenomena is quite obvious to everybody. So I will just explain the three phenomena and taken from moment to moment. So if we fail to observe the phenomena the moment we smell, then we cannot distinguish between the phenomena elements. So we cannot see different types of elements. In Pali, Nana Dhantu, different elements. So we see all elements as a whole, and then the concept of solidity takes place. It is because due to failure to see the process of a series of process of phenomena, and then as a result the notion of solidity covers up the state of anatta. And then there are several types of phenomena, different phenomena, and each phenomena has each function and different function. For example, the smell is a different function. The nose, sense of nose also has different function, its own individual function, and smelling consciousness also has its own individual function. So this consciousness just experiences smell. It is its own function. And phassa, the combination of the sense and sense organ, this mental phassa contact also has its own function. The Vedana sensation also has its own function. So the different phenomena, different elements have a different function. If we observe the phenomena the moment they take place, or if we observe hearing the moment hearing takes place, if the moment we hear a sound, then we are able to see there are different phenomena. Then there is no chance for concept or solidity. Actually, hearing process is take place from moment to moment, preceding and succeeding smell, also appear and disappear from moment to moment. The sense of nose itself also appear and disappear from moment to moment. Smell also succeeding smell and preceding smell disappear and appear from moment to moment. But if we observe them the moment they take place, we are able to realize the different phenomena and the different characteristics and the different functions taking place from moment to moment, and there is no chance for concept of solidity. The moment we eat food, the eating process is constituted of several types of phenomena, elements. It's a Nana Dhatu. There is a responsive element. These are quite obvious to us if we note them the moment we eat food. There can be several types of taste, some delicious, some not delicious, and some sweet, sour, hot, bitter, salty. when we put a food on our tongue, then the food is mixed with the saliva, mucus in the mouth, and then the taste can be experienced. Sometimes sweet, sometimes sour, maybe hot. If we eat chili, it's obviously hot to us. It's a very clear taste. Immediately we can experience it. So this taste is striken on the base sense organ, the tongue. In the middle of the tongue, there is a senses through which the taste can be taken. So the taste strike on that sense, and then the taste consciousness, the responsive element, occur to us. Sometimes our tongue is covered up with the mucus and dirty, and then taste is not very obvious. Then we have to clean the dirty out of the tongue. Then the taste is more clear, more obvious on our tongue. So the tasting process of mind and body. So there are the striker element, base element, and a responsive element as quite obvious. So there are also another mental element is a mental contact between the sense organ and the sense consciousness or sense organ and the taste. Combination of sense organ and taste result in the responsive element. This is called phassa, the contact, mental contact between the sense organ and taste object. And then the taste can be agreeable or disagreeable, or like or dislike, pleasant or unpleasant, depending on the situation. The feeling, sensation, good or bad, also obvious to us. So this consciousness, the tasting consciousness, also can be connected with the pleasant feeling and the unpleasant feeling, depending on the taste we have. So the moment we eat, this base striker element, base element, and the responsive element are very obvious. So they have different characteristics, different phenomena, different functions. So that's why they are called nana dhatu, different phenomena and different functions. So nana dhatu vinibhoga, if we want to see them individually, and then we have to observe them the moment they take place. Then we are able to see the phenomena which are involved in the tasting process. Then there is no chance for concept or the solidity. We are able to see the phenomena according to their function, according to their objects, and according to their different characteristics. Then there is no chance for concept of solidity. The concept of solidity is destroyed. So the moment we eat, there are several kinds of the elements which are obvious to us. So if we observe them, the moment they take place, the moment we eat, then we are able to see them individually. If we fail to observe them the moment we eat, and there's no mindfulness, no concentration, Then we take the eating process as a whole, and then there is the concept of solidity, or the notion of solidity. So we are expected to note each and every activity which are involved in the eating process, so that we are able to see the different characteristics or the phenomena. And then there is sometimes we may notice, we may be aware of our tongue, the base element, or sometimes the taste. If we note that eating, sometimes we may experience the taste as it is, and sometimes the combination of the taste and tongue, sometimes the sensation, pleasant or unpleasant, can be experienced. Then there is no chance for notion of the solidity. The concept of solidity will be destroyed, because we are able to see the phenomena in their own individual characteristics. So we are expected to observe eating. Then we are able to analyze the different characteristics of the phenomena which are involved in the eating process. So the moment we touch with something or someone, there is a striker element, base element, and a responsive element are very obvious. There are many things to be explained. Maybe it's too much for us to be explained. So only three elements will be explained. So the moment we touch with something and someone, there is a striker, or the element which strike on the sense organ. It can be three kinds. It can be of three kinds. It's Patavi, Tejo, Vayo, out of 4 elements. The Patavi Dhatu is the earth element. We can experience it as the feeling of hardness. And then, so in our physical body, this hardness can be experienced when we touch with something or someone. This, for example, in our body, sense organ or any part of the body, for example, the hair or body hair, nail, finger nail, toe nail, bone and sinew, these can be touched. If we touch this physical organ, we can experience hardness or tightness. This is Patavi Dhatu, an earth element. So it has its own characteristics. We can clearly experience it. So sometimes the striker element, the objects, come and touch on our face. Then we can experience as if the insect crawling on our face, or sometimes the piercing, like someone bite on our back. These are results of touching. The striker objects come and touch on our body, and then we feel this type of sensation. And then another element which can be experienced the moment we touch with something and someone, it is Tejo Dhatu. There's a temperature element or fire element. There's a heat or warmth or cold or cool. These are characteristics of Tejo Dhatu. When we touch something or someone, we can experience this element clearly. So this striker element strike on the base, the sense organ, our physical body, and then we can experience the heat or warmth or the temperature. When we have fever, this temperature is rise up, and then very clear heat can be experienced, clearly experienced. When we have the typhoid or some other diseases, then the body temperature become extremely higher. Then we clearly experience the heat, the Tejo Dhatu. So these are Tejo Dhatu, fire or temperature element, which can be experienced in the process of touching process. And then another element we can experience the moment we touch with something, and someone is fire element. It is a motion element, roughly translated as a motion element or air element. It is pressure or tightness or movement or motion can be experienced like this. So when we touch something and someone, we can find this element as a pressure or tightness or movement. That means we are experiencing Vayodhatu, air element or the motion element. These three types of the element strike on the base element. It is base element is constituted of our flesh in our body. So any part of our body which is constituted of flesh is called the base element to accept the touching. So when we touch something in the hair or nail, we cannot experience the touching. But if we are touched on our flesh, any part of the body, we can experience the touching, the hardness or heat or warmth or pressure, etc. And then the consciousness, touching consciousness take place. This is a responsive element. But sometimes our body, even though it's a flesh, if we are in the operation theater, we apply a type of medicine so that we cannot feel the touching. Operation can be done. In that case, our physical body, even though flesh area, the touching, it cannot be clear, cannot be organ, because the base of the touching is not clear at that moment. So the flesh area of our body is the base for touching, to experience the touching. So three types of phenomena, elements, they come and strike the base or the base element, the flesh or our physical body. Then the touching consciousness, responsive elements take place, which is also constituted of the mental contact, phassa, the combination of the sense organ and objects, the mental contact phassa, and then as a result, sensation also take place, come into existence, which is also can be divided into two kinds, pleasant and unpleasant, pleasurable and unpleasurable according to the objects. So There are several types of phenomena and several types of elements and several types of function and objects involved in the touching process. So if we observe or if we analyze these phenomena by observing them the moment they take place, there is no chance for the concept of the solidity. The notion of the solidity will be destroyed. Now time is up. There are many more things to explain regarding touching process. These touching phenomena are very widespread in the many cases. Rising, falling, this can be also experienced as a touching, and sitting, standing up, sitting down, bending, stretching. Many kinds of the behavior and activities are constituted of this touching. We can experience those activities as an element of touching. Those activities as an element of touching. Those activities